Big game, James, man. I'm back in the building, and I told you, man, we're gonna start this new high school thing. It's called Be Generation Next, the new up and comers coming out in these new classes. And what we want to do is we want to open these doors for these young men and see, basically not just what they're doing on the field, what they're doing off the field, basically their goals or what they see, what they're going into their high school career and possibly college. So, without further ado, I have my first, very first you. His name is Jason Kim, 6 foot, 295 pound offman, if I'm correct on that, Jason.
Yes,
So
you are.
I got 6 foot, 295 pound offensive lineman. He was a sophomore last year, had 10 starts. Basically going into his junior year, got 2 more years. So how you doing, Jason?
I'm doing well. Obviously last year was definitely a little bit of struggle, especially with the shortened off season, going from a spring freshman year that was shortened to 6 games into right into the summer. Not as much lifting as I would have liked, and I definitely wasn't as strong as I would have liked to be in the season. But I mean, it was great to play varsity as a sophomore. It was incredible. I loved every second, every part of it, even though our team didn't do very well. I mean, it was still great. I really love football, and that's all that it really means to me.
I like hearing that. So that's pretty awesome. Number one, that you were a sophomore starting on varsity. That's not an easy feat for people to do. People need to understand that. So let's go back to your freshman year. Did you play strictly freshman ball your freshman year?
Yes, I started at the same position I started as a sophomore for the 6 games in our shortened season.
Okay, and that was during COVID, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Now, what is your particular position? What position do you play on the offensive line?
on the offensive line, I was just strictly right guard.
Strictly right guard?
Yes.
Now, going at the right guard position, is that a position that they said, well, you know what, we're going to put you at that? But is it a position that you said, I'm going to dive in and I like this position, or is something that, okay, this is what the coaches put me at, and I'm just going to go ahead and say, I'm going to make the best of it? Or is this something that you were like, hey, I like this position. I want to really get really great at this?
Well, yeah. I mean, I right guard was is I really liked it. My freshman year when they just threw in, I only started playing freshman. So that was only 6 games before I went to my sophomore year, and I felt comfortable with the right guard position, even though I have very limited experience. I thought I could try this out as a sophomore for varsity since they didn't really have anyone else.
Okay. So now let me ask you this. I want you to sound a little more excited. Man, smile, man. Act like you smile, man. Get some enthusiasm up in here, man. We trying to open up these doors, man. I need smiles. You over there like, oh, there was. Nah, I need you smiling, man. You said you was happy, you was excited. It was the best thing ever happened to you. So I need you smiling on this interview. All right.
All right.
All right. So going into your sophomore year, right? You get a new head coach. Let me pull up. Eric Henderson. So you got a new coach. You didn't have the
Oh no.
greatest year, you said, but you got 10
Yeah.
starts as a sophomore. So tell me a little bit about your coach. How did you feel about your coach? Even though you said you didn't have a successful year, how do you feel about your coach? And how do you feel about going into this season, your junior season, even though you didn't maybe have the most successful? What's your feelings about the coach and the team right now?
Okay. So I just wanted to clarify one thing. Coach Henderson, he's our new coach for this year.
Okay.
Last year, our coach was Coach Crush. He was
Okay.
an interim that they hired in the spring off season.
Hmm.
He was a great guy. He was the player coach. Everyone loved him. I mean, you could feel like all the offensive linemen definitely loved him as a coach. He really brought us together, even though we didn't we didn't do great. He still was there for us all the way, all 10 games.
Hmm.
He decided to go elsewhere for coaching opportunities, which
Hmm.
obviously I get that. But coming into this year under the new head coach, I really think we could do some great stuff. He is he's a lot more motivated to work. than I've seen out of any coach. He has us up, 6 in the morning, working out, and we go afternoon for more lifting, more running. It's just something interesting. I've never experienced it before. It's great.
All right. So do you think that now you got the good coach, new coach, and I think he's had some college experience, correct?
Yeah, from what I've heard, he coached at New Hampshire University and George Mason for a short
Okay.
period before he came here.
Okay, so that's really honestly, that's really good for you because if he's already coached at a college level, he's already seen it. So you guys have a better potential, I would think. I don't know about your old coach, but if you have a guy who coached college ball, he's seen it, he knows it. So this is a good opportunity for you guys to be able to open doors for you to be getting more college opportunities because he's been there and done that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
what was your record last year? Would you finish at last year?
we finished 2-8.
2-8. Now, do
Yeah,
you guys play in a really tough competitive division? Are you like Division 2, Division 3? What
yeah. We
division are you in?
so we play in the Patriot district is what they call it. And it's a six
Hmm.
A league. We got some very tough teams like Robinson High School. They're very strong competitors. South County, great school. Fairfax also very emerging. I feel
Hmm.
like we could definitely compete in this district. We just have to want it. The kids here, we just have to show that we can definitely beat these teams in our district.
Right. So let me ask you this, Jason. Who is on your offensive who is what you say with your team? Who is like your guy right now? Like let's say on the offensive end, who is like your one guy you're like, man, this dude is nice. If we can continue to let him grow or give him time, this dude is a beast. Name the one person on your offense that you could say is a monster.
I'd have to say name's Kai Sanchez.
Okay.
He's he he's also a sophomore like me, but
Hmm.
also played varsity this year as a starter wide receiver. I think he's like 6'2", 6'3". He's pretty tall, and a he's a great end zone threat wide receiver. He can really high point the ball on a one-on-one situation. I think he can definitely do some great things on the offense.
Okay. Now let's talk about you. Now this is your junior year, correct? You got 2 years left.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
All
getting
right.
to my junior year.
So you got 10 starts as a sophomore. Tell me going into this year, your own person let's talk about your own personal goals. You got 10 starts as a sophomore, pretty good. What is your kind of expectations? I know it's kind of hard to do stats with offensive linemen, but what's your own reasonable expectations as a right guard? What do you want to improve on? What does Jason Kim want to get better in going into the 22 season?
I one thing is I really like to see on the field as a D tackle. I'd love to be there, help any way I can. I didn't play defense at all my sophomore or freshman year.
Hmm.
But as an offensive lineman, I just wanted to get the rock down the field. Run. I feel like we can run the ball pretty hard if we just stick to our blocks, our schemes, and our calls. I feel like you know if we just perform well, and if I do my job and the other guys do theirs, and then we can start winning games, start getting the ball down the field, start moving it, first down every time. That would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Now, also, you just mentioned that you said defense. Now, and that's got my question. That's got my spider senses tingling right now because you was offensive lineman, but you said defense. Now that tells me you kind of might like defense more than offense. Am I wrong or am I right? What you like better?
Well, I mean, I have been getting some plays at defense. It is
Uh-huh.
great, and it is awesome. But it's tough to say.
I like hearing
I would
that.
be happy either way, just as long as I see the field more.
Right, right. Now, for real, when I looked at your size, and then you just told me you played D tackle. Bro, you could be a definitely a one tech or a three tech, especially going into the next couple of years. And then as soon as I mentioned defense, when we were talking offense, she just had a regular face. But when I mentioned defense, look at that smile. Look at that smile. That smile went from here to here. So I'm thinking you might like some defense better. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna find your coach's inbox. I'm gonna D him. I'm gonna say I talked to Jason Kim, man. He said he want to play some defensive tackle, dog. So you need to get him in that middle because when I said defense, his eyes lit up, his smile, he was had a regular straight face. But as soon as I said defense, that boy's face lit up. So I'm thinking you might need to get some reps on that defense, dog. I need to see you on defense because guess what? Defense is all an attitude. All the offensive line, the line as a general is an attitude. You win in the trenches. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got your receivers, you got your running backs, you got quarterbacks. But if your offensive line isn't good, if your defensive line isn't good, your team isn't going to do nothing. So that's one of the most important facets of the game. Even when I coached youth football for about 15 years, and I wasn't like the offensive line or defensive lineman guru. But one thing I did know is those trenches. If you can hold those trenches down, you can do a lot that you want as far as the game. So let me ask you this: let's say you switch to defense. Let's say you were really good at it. Um, colleges. Yeah, you're in the Virginia area. I actually lived in Virginia for about 4 years. I lived in Virginia Beach. My son lives out there right now. You're in Fairfax, and I know Virginia is a good, good like area for high school football and basketball. So, have you thought about any colleges? Have you, looked at any? Has any came in your mind? Not even just football wise, just school wise in general.
Not really. No. I haven't really been thinking of colleges quite yet,
Okay.
but
Would you want? Let me ask you this: if you had any college scholarship offers, would you want to stay in state in Virginia, or would you want to go out of state? Would that be something that be wanted you want to do?
I think staying in state in Virginia would be nice. Stay somewhat close to my parents,
Hmm.
so I can see them a little more. That would be nice.
Now, how do your parents feel? Are they like full and supportive of you with the football? Do they want to see you probably take it to another level with it? How are your parents, in the support with you with your sports and your
Oh,
scholastic athletes?
uh, they're all for it. My dad, he actually played a lot of high school and some college sports when he was
Okay,
younger. He was a high school football player and wrestler, and
okay.
did collegiate wrestling too. So he definitely understands, the high school sports, all that, what it means to be a student athlete. And I know that he definitely has my back for that. My mom is in the same boat with him. You know.
That's really good because you got to have that full support. Now, you just mentioned something about your father, not just him playing football, but wrestling. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, especially guys that play in the trenches, offensive line or defensive lineman, if you wrestle, I, I personally feel like you have a leg up. I've interviewed a few Dallas Cowboys players, and one of them in particular was a wrestler. And I really feel like it helped his game. And he even said it helped his game a little bit more inside the trenches because he understands leverage, things of that nature. Has wrestling ever been an option for you? Ever even thought about it because your father did it?
Well, yes, a few times. Still a little uncertain about it right now, but maybe it's kind of really on the fence for me.
Hmm.
I I'm interested in wrestling, but I don't think right now that I would be really ready for it. You when the thing it actually came up when in the winter of as a sophomore,
Hmm.
I had definitely my dad did kind of push me to try wrestling out, see what it's all about. But I felt that it would be more important for me to be in the weight room with with other teammates because I'm just not as strong as I really want to be to perform even in wrestling, even in football. So then I kind of tried to prioritize lifting, just getting stronger in general over wrestling.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna just tell you right now, that's very important. You got to be strong in there because you got to be strong in them trenches. But I'm gonna tell you right now, listen to your dad. You ain't gotta love wrestling. You ain't gotta love it. It ain't gotta be your best friend. But I'm telling you what, I did a little bit of wrestling when I was in high school. It is very fun. And I'm telling you right now, when you talk about strength, they're gonna have you in the weight room. You're gonna have a different type of strength that you will learn in wrestling than football. And I feel like it'll carry you. I mean, I used to I trained boxing as well, and when I was coaching football, I used to take my kids to the boxing gym, and I used to cross train them. So we wouldn't always football train; we would cross train with boxing. And when I got them on the field, all my kids were telling me, "Man, Coach Jay, this is it's totally different. Like I feel different. I feel like." I have a edge over these other kids because they don't know the things that I know as far as with hand fighting, endurance, strength, things of that nature. So I'm not saying, hey, just jump on wrestling and whatever just to do it. But I'm saying consider it because you play on the line. And if you're playing on the line, you don't have to be some wrestling champion. You don't have to be like 20 and 50 and 0. But one thing I have noticed, a lot of the guys that have went to college that have wrestling pedigrees, they were really good wrestlers and they were really dogs on the field, especially in the trenches, because they just have an edge. Because most offensive linemen, with their hand placement and hand fighting, they don't understand those principles. And when you're wrestling, you're already grappling, you're already wrestling, you're already using hand movements. You have to stay low. High man doesn't win in wrestling, just like low man always wins in football. So you have to stay low. So it keeps you with the leverage. So that's just to me something consider in the future. Even if you don't do it this year, maybe look at it as your senior year because it'll teach you all those little things to help you get better: leverage, strength, hand fighting, all those things that you'll be doing with the offensive line. So that's definitely a consideration that you probably want to do. And you already have your father who sounds like he was pretty good at it. So you already got a coach among the coach, and your father's going to be behind you 100%. He probably going to be there every daggone wrestling meet, sitting there right there, like, come on, Jason, let's go, get him on the ground. He gonna be doing all that screaming and hollering, yelling. He gonna be doing all that. That's my boy. You see my boy just being him. That's what he just did. That's what he probably gonna be doing. So you know what I'm saying? Keep that in mind, dog. That might be something for you. So I want to ask you a few other things before I let you off here, Jason. First of all, I appreciate you taking your time out of your schedule to talk with me. And this ain't gonna be our only talk, because what I'm gonna do is all the athletes that I interview before the season, we're going to talk middle season. We're going to talk about how you're doing during the year. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't
Yeah.
just going to have some one time talking and we never talk again. We're going to build and forge a relationship, and you're going to show me how much better you got each year. And then we're going to show you signing a college scholarship, because I'm going to put that in faith, especially because you said you love it, and we're going to put that in the air. But one thing I want to ask you, we always talk about on the field, but let's talk a little bit about off the field, school. I don't want to be nosy, but how you look on your GPA right now?
So, my freshman year, that one really struggled because of online school.
Mm-hmm.
I really did not have a good time concentrating. My grades kind of suffered
Mm-hmm.
because of that. I have a 3.225 GPA, I believe. But now that I'm back in school, you know, it feels much better.
Mm-hmm.
My grades definitely have improved since the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of my freshman year when
Mm-hmm.
it was all virtual on a laptop. It feels more natural. It feels more like actual school.
Right.
I can pay it. You know, I can focus better. I can
Mm-hmm.
get the work done easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's not online. It's not mostly online assignments.
Mm-hmm.
Some on paper.
So you like that better. So that's good. So what's your favorite subject right now?
I'd say right now my favorite subject is probably history. You know,
History?
yeah, it's
Ah, that's
interesting.
my favorite subject too. That was my favorite subject in school, bro. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, I wasn't the scholar in school, but I did love history. I got straight A's in history. I just always thought it was always interesting me to find out different cultures. Number one, just the history, because a lot of things you just don't know about. And I'm always curious and always want to know what happened back in our past, because it's shaped our present and our future. So that's why I really love history. You know what I mean? So I'm with you there on the history. I feel like that's something that you can always gain more knowledge on. Now, um, you know. let's say you're going into college. You said your history is something that you like. Is that something that you would major in as far as like maybe employment, like career, future? What's your kind of thoughts with your future? I know you have a few years before you leave high school, but have you thought about, even with football, even if let's say football doesn't go all the way to let's say NFL or anything like that, what would be your thought to say, man, this is what I kind of want to do if after football is done or this and that. This is kind of where I want to go and head afterwards.
That's tough. I've never really thought deeply into
See, I'm gonna make you think. I'm gonna make you think, Jason.
yeah.
I'm gonna start making you think. I'm gonna start making you think about what you gonna do later. See, you mess with me, dog. I motivate you, and we're gonna get that. We're gonna start. So now I done already opened the door. So now when we get off this interview, you're gonna start thinking like, man, I wonder what I'm gonna. You gonna be like, I wonder
Yeah.
what I am gonna be. So, have you ever had any kind of inkling? Maybe I kind of like this as a profession. Have you ever looked at anything kind of in your head?
Not really. I've never really imagined that far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of just focused on what I'm doing right now.
I
I've
got you.
never really thought about it.
Well, we
It's
putting that in
it's
your head.
really hard to say.
Well, we
Uh,
putting it, like I said, we putting it in your head right now. So we're gonna give you those thoughts, and so we can start getting that brain food. Now I understand how you in the now, but you also got to be thinking about that future because school comes quick. Right now you a junior. Next thing you know, you're gonna snap your fingers. That senior year is gonna be right in your face, and then you're gonna be thinking about options outside of that. So just something to keep your eye on and just start kind of marinating your mind, start opening your brain, and start thinking like maybe I might want to do this and this and that. So before I let you go out of here, I know you had some your personal goals. What's your team goals this year? I know you guys were 2-8 this past season. What kind of team goals do you have along with your personal individual goals?
so our team goals, we really want to win the district championship here. Even though we were 2-8 last year, we feel like that we can switch things around, flip the script, make a really big difference, and just show oh, we're not the same 2-8 school from last year. Now it's different. The culture's changed. You know, for personal goals, scholarship would definitely help. I would love to get an offer. You know, I guess it's a family of three. I got a younger brother and sister, so obviously having a scholarship would make it easier for my parents to get them through college, especially if they don't have anything. So that's really what I'm focused on right now.
Definitely. And also, I know you want to play defense. So that's a thing that we want to see you play this year. Make sure you holler at them coaches. Jason, don't be scared to say to them coaches, like, even if you started offensive line last year, don't be scared to say some of them coaches, like, Coach, I'd like to try defensive line. Like, I just like to try it. If I don't, fit there, that's cool. But go to them coaches. I mean, because like I said, I really feel it in your spirit that you really want to try that defensive line, man. And if that's what you're feeling in your spirit, and I see that joy that comes out of you when I say that, that means you could be a dog on that defensive line. So don't hold yourself back from that, Jason. Make sure you approach those coaches and say, I'd like to give this a try. I was offensive lineman, but I like to see how I could do, because you never know. You speaking up and saying something, they try you at defensive tackle. Next thing you know, you are animal at it, and you're like, hey, you remember when we had that talk? Look at me now. I'm starting defensive tackle. I had like 52 tackles. I had 3 sacks my first year. It could really happen for you, Jason. So don't be shy and don't stay quiet. If that's something that you really want to do, speak up and say it to those coaches so you can be the best that you can be. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes, sir. So this is my interview with Mr. Jason Kim, offensive lineman. What's the name of your school again?
Woodson High School.
Say it again for me. I'm sorry.
Woodson High School.
Woodson High School in Fairfax, Virginia.
Yes.
Okay. So I thank you for y'all's time today. I got Mr. Jason Kim, offensive lineman from Woodson High School, Fairfax, Virginia. Make sure you check him out. This isn't the only interview me and him are going to do. This is our first initial interview. We're going to have a whole bunch more interviews with a whole bunch more kids. But what we're going to do is when we start the initial interview, we're going to talk with Jason during mid-season, see how the season's going, and then we're going to talk to you again, Jason, at the end of the season. And so basically, we'll have a good 3-time talk to see where you are at the middle of the season and at the end of the season. Then we can go back and say, hey, at the beginning of the season, we had these goals as a team. I had my own personal individual goals. And let's see if we met those goals. We'll be looking at the middle of the season to see how it's going and the end of the season so we can recap your goals and expectations and how you felt how the season went. So number one, once again, I appreciate you taking out your time from me, man. I appreciate you answering me on my DMs. I appreciate your time, taking out your time today. And I really feel like I'm really in my heart, bro. Push that defensive tackle, dog. Push that defense. I really feel it in my heart, man, that you really should go after and don't let anything stop you. Okay. You get what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
see your eyes light up when we talk about it. You need to go hard at it because that means you could be really great. Might be really great at it. So I'm really excited to see, especially if you do. And also, if you can, I know a lot of the kids do I don't know if it's the hoodie, the HUDI. I don't know how you say it.
Huddle?
Yes. If you can, do you have any highlights right now?
I do, but we're still trying to get them all together into one clip.
Okay.
We have a lot of individual scattered clips that we're
Okay.
just trying to compile together right now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, do me a personal favor. If you can get that done as soon as you can, because what we're gonna do is once we do these interviews, then I'm gonna go and show the tape of how you look. You get what I'm saying? So we just don't want to just talk about the player. We want to show the player. So if you can, please don't delay on that. Get on that as much as you can because I'm gonna keep it real. I know a lot of people in the streets. I know you're in Virginia. I'm actually located in Columbus, Ohio, but I know a lot of people. Like I said, I coached youth football for a long time. I got kids I coach right now that are playing major college football. I got a couple kids right now. One is playing for Bowling Green. He's a linebacker. He's a sophomore. I got another kid named Julius Will. He's playing for East Carolina. He's a safety. He's a sophomore over there as well. So I got quite a few kids playing small college ball. So I know people. So the thing I can do is you get that tape together. I can push that tape out to potential colleges and college coaches. That's the whole purpose of me doing this is to open doors for the youth. That's why when I sent you that initial message. So if you can get me that tape together, then I can put that tape and I can show it on my channel and then I can push it out to other people. So the more exposure you get, the better it is for you and the more open doors we can open for you to possibly get a scholarship because that's what we're here for and that's what we're all about here on my Big Game James show. Okay.
All right.
All right. So I really appreciate it. And make sure next time we talk, you're gonna smile a lot more, right? You ain't gonna look all serious every time, right? You
All right.
ain't gonna be looking like you mad at the world, right? You ain't gonna do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So once again, this is my guy, Jason Kim. Check him out. Woodson High, Fairfax, Virginia. We will be checking in him during the season. We're going to get him at that defensive tackle, and he's going to rock and roll this season. He's going to make waves like no other here on Big Game James. So without further ado, we thank you for your time, and we'll be talking to you soon. Big Game James, Jason Kim, we're out on Generation Next. Peace. Until soon. I'm out.